guys, welcome back to another video with Love Over Lupus. Thanks for joining in. Today we're going to switch gears a little bit. I originally intended to talk about the journey back to the gym and kind of lay out the weight gain that I'll be going on and kind of how I plan to achieve those goals in these next couple months. But we cannot predict life and it's not perfect. So instead, we're going to talk about what a lupus flare is and some of the common symptoms that I usually deal with when I go through a flare because I am currently having one. So I thought instead of doing the video at a later date and time, it would be best to just do it now because it's more realistic and honest, seeing as I'm dealing with it right now. Before we get started, if you are not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, like the video for me, and tap the bell so that you can keep up with all the content coming up. First, I want to discuss what is a lupus flare. So a flare is when the disease activity is basically in overdrive. As we discussed previously, lupus is when your immune system is overactive, and so it causes your body to attack its healthy tissues and organs and things of that nature. So during a flare, that's what's happening. Your immune system is overactive, it's attacking those different parts of the body, and it's causing you to have symptoms. The symptoms can literally vary so far because lupus affects the entire body. So A, it's going to be different in each and every person. Everyone's going to react differently. And B, because it attacks the whole body is why you can have symptoms all the way from A to Z. Before we get started into the story time, I do want to just list out the typical symptoms that I have pretty much every time I have a flare. I pretty much always have the extreme fatigue. I'm always tired, but I get unusually fatigued, like can't get out of bed, can't, just feel super, super sluggish. So I'll have that. I'll get swelling in my hands. I don't really get swelling anywhere else. I do know, some people get it in their feet and their legs and different places. For me, I get it in my hands, and that's how I know that I'm probably having a flare or heading into one. So we've got the fatigue, the swelling of the hands. I'll have pain. My pain usually stays in my knees, my wrist and hands, and my shoulders. That's usually where I have majority of the pain when I'm having flares. And fever. So a lot of the times I can pinpoint it because I get this random fever out of nowhere, and I'll feel really ill, like kind of like I have the flu. Like your body is just that, once again, that fatigue. I'll get a headache, fever, and just feel really, really drained. And those are kind of like the main symptoms that I have majority of the time. The fever is like half and half. I'll get it sometimes and then sometimes I won't. But the other symptoms, like spot on. Like that's where we're at with it. So before we get started into story time on kind of how those symptoms played into my day, which led me to know that I was having a flare, you guys go ahead and comment below 2 or 3 symptoms that you typically have whenever you're about to go into a flare or you have one. So story time. Yesterday, I woke up per usual. Thank you, Lord. Started my day, no issues. But by late morning, early afternoon, I started to feel really tired. And so another thing with lupus, some of the symptoms are so broad that like you attribute it to different things. Like, okay, I'm really tired. Well, maybe I had a long day yesterday. Maybe I didn't sleep well. Maybe I didn't drink enough water. Like, it's so many things that you can pinpoint it to that sometimes, you don't always just say like, oh, it's my lupus. You don't want to give it extra things that it doesn't need. So that's kind of what I did. I was like, okay, maybe I had a long day yesterday. So that was, you know, late morning, and I just went on with the rest of my day. And then I went to the gym, and I was actually working on legs, so I wasn't really using my wrists and hands very much. And about 15 minutes into the workout, like, my wrist just started bothering me out of nowhere, and my hands. And so at that point, then I was kind of like, okay, I've been feeling kind of weary all day, and now like I'm having, you know, kind of like this intense random pain. I was like, okay, well, I'm probably having a flare, or about to have a flare, however you want to put it. And so finished up at the gym, you know, went home, took a shower, and cooled down. And once I kind of cooled down, it really just all hit me. So still was having the pain in my wrists and stuff, but now I'm getting those flu-like symptoms, like feeling really heavy and a little, you know, have the headache and the fever, all those things. And so at that point, you're just hoping that it doesn't end up being really bad. You're hoping it doesn't last a long time. And for me, usually I try to think about what I could have done that may have caused the flare. You can't pinpoint it always. You can't always identify what it is. But if I think back and I do know what I did that could have caused it, I try to reduce it, or I try to at least be cognitive, like, okay, well, I was out, you know, from sun up to sundown yesterday, and I probably just overworked my body, and here we are. So, okay, I will be cognitive of that and try to reduce that, maybe cut my errands in half, or, you know what I mean? Just bring things to your attention to try to help yourself. That's all you can do, is just learn and relearn and adjust and replan. So hopefully the video was able to help. I think it's really important to get as many different videos out as possible, just because it literally affects people so differently. So the more videos, the more variety that you can see on what is happening in a person that does have lupus can maybe help someone be diagnosed, or it can just help someone that's wondering if their symptom is related to lupus or something else. So I thank you guys for tuning in and listening. And like I said, next week we will be discussing getting back to the gym, which is exciting. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend and start your week off fresh. And like always, remember to live every day with love over lupus. Until next time, guys.